But think about where this, guys, this is how fucked up everything is right now. If you think that esports is somehow a better place than it used to be, and I said this on Twitter. Now, we started esports with it being the exploitation of young people, questionable business practices, money laundering, etc. Yep. And like, look where we are now. This whole conversation was sparked by Carlos drinking with a guy that a lot of people don't like, and we've now reached geopolitics level of massively powerful countries. The only thing, like, the next step is literally just attacking God for making the world. So we can't really go much bigger than this is right now.
Don't fancy that myself. No, but I mean, look, you know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, like, all of the, like, how much sympathy can you fucking have? Like, our industry's poisoned. It's terminal. Like, it's going to be something else. You don't think it can get worse? You think it stops with blood money? You think it stops with a blood? And by the way, there were people who had actual literal blood diamonds in. I left that out. Go look up my reporting about the Sapinda group, where a guy literally turned up at a fucking esports event. I was live and said he was going to fucking dome me. That was great. You know, you think it can't get worse? It always gets worse. It always gets worse because we allow it to get worse because we just want to keep the fucking little fireworks display going on. Nobody wants it to be small. The fans don't pay a penny. You all want it for free. You won't even pay pay-per-view. We can't even do that. We can't even have a legitimate fucking revenue stream anywhere in this fucking industry, and everyone's trying to do things bigger, better, dominate the pie. No one cares about a fucking ecosystem. Look, every time someone talks about an esports ecosystem, it makes me fucking laugh. You don't care about an ecosystem. You just want to fucking own it all. You want to run the biodome, then you get to talk about an ecosystem. It's the same shit every time. People think in monopolistic terms exclusively in this business because there's no regulatory bodies that can get away with it. It's a fucking absolute fiesta every fucking day. We needed a hard reset. That's what we needed. A great reset I could get behind.
And here's the truth for you fans out there, and where this conversation goes is, like, you, the fans, are also partially responsible for this. If you guys were willing to put your money up to pay for this content, which you have cried, oh no, you know, it has to be free every single time. That's what caused this situation. Like, actually, seriously, if there was proper monetization in this scene, which is partially the fault of the tournament organizers, it's partially the fault of the publishers who wanted to make this free as a marketing exercise. But there is very little money from the fans, you know, flowing into esports. So here's how it goes, guys. If you want this to change, pay for it, please. Like, we're asking you, support the people that are good in this space. If you are part of this industry, when this stuff comes up, fucking say something about it. We all hate it, so if everyone speaks up about it, maybe it can be lessened or stopped to a certain degree.
Like the first thing that happened at the beginning of the episode, where everyone spoke up at the same time. And basically, Monte is sort of in a sideways saying, if you'd have just supported Flashpoint, maybe none of this would have needed to happen, you know, in the end, in a roundabout way, you know. I was just trying to put a good tournament on. What do you want?
I mean, no, like, it's you know, I think, not to get too esoteric with it, but the saying there is no such thing as ethical consumption under capitalism. This is this idea that, you know, everyone and every entity is compromised to a certain extent. And like the best way to counteract that is through like mutual aid and community support. And, you know, looking at that concept through the lens of esports, like supporting the creators that you love directly, if that's Patreon or, you know, any sort of other like direct one-to-one support, paying for broadcasts, like these are things that, you know, really could help change the way that the industry works and, you know, make things more sustainable and more holistic and, you know, have people be less dependent on outside sources that are, you know, can be incredibly malicious forces ultimately.
Yeah.
And vote with your dollars. Vote for the companies that don't do this shit. Like when there is a smaller company, pay them for it and show that you support them. Yeah.
And guys, like the problem is that until there are viable alternatives of where to work, Riot has a complete monopoly over their circuit. There isn't, you know, if people want to make money from Riot, there's only a very few people, including people on this call, who can make a living independently of them. It's really not easy for most people. And as much as I don't like people who are, won't speak up or about the issues that are very core to them, a lot of people are just fucking scared. And so the only way to get the louder voices out is to create an alternative way for them to make a living. And I think that is a really serious job that needs to happen within the esports community, because we're too dependent on these governmental entities and the tournament operators and the publishers. And even the journalism sites are dependent on the publishers, because if they don't have the advanced access to write articles about that you guys are going to click on through SEO, if they start slamming people, they just get cut off from the publishers. Then all of a sudden, all their competitors get all the interviews, all the information, everything like that. So it's really tough right now. It's really tough to be in that space. And this is a call to the fans to really put up some money and support the like Lauren is saying, the content creators that are out there that do this kind of work, because it's, you wonder why we're so salty a lot of the time. It's because it feels like screaming into the void.
And
fuck the fans. Fuck the fans. How can anyone take the fans seriously? Have you seen the shit? When did esports fans start loving politicians, by the way? When the fuck did this happen? We just had the CSGO major announced, and there's fucking Macron announcing it. Right, going, I'm going to make France an amazing esports hub. Your fucking approval rating was through the fucking toilet while you were fucking instructing police to fire tear gas grenades into people's eyes because they fucking didn't like you and didn't like the direction you were taking France in with your COVID protocols, among other fucking things. We all love this guy. We're going to suck off politicians now. Yeah, we're going to suck off politicians now. Literally, all the comments. Hey, Macron's giving us credibility. Macron, in 2 years, once he's had all his big events and encouraged a bunch of youth voters and made a little bit of money for all of his rich fucking friends who own the venues and are going to get all these handouts and government money, he's going to fucking turn around and, I don't know, before an election, he'll do a moral crusade and talk about are violent video games actually to blame for a degradation in society. Politicians ain't your fucking friends, no more than these fucking regimes are that are buying all your shit. Fuck the fans. Until you stop becoming a bunch of fucking bootlickers, you get what you deserve. Fuck them.
By the way, the other reason also, in my opinion, why we have to say these things now is because Richard made a great point in a video he did on his channel about conflict of interest. Go check it out on his channel. The point he made at the end was such a salient one. When me and Richard leave, it's like Last of the Mohicans. We're the last people who even seem to understand what a conflict of interest is. The new generation of journalists is just a shit, hype man, Nelk boy idiot who just wants the hoodie and a beer with Stewie 2K and a pat on the back from ESL and that arm that's up their arse telling them what a great job they did and how they did an excellent job, hitting the hard-hitting questions, and then they all go home and the esports is just a big circle jerk once again, and there would be no one to hold these people's feet to the fire. And if they are, guess what? They won't be in the press rooms. They won't be the ones asking the question at the press conference, which you now have to submit your question to Riot, and they go, is your name Travis Gafford? No. And you don't get to ask a question of their particular player. That is the future, and the future, by the way, is coming year on year now. It's going to be next year and the year after that and the year after, because me and Richard aren't going to be here, mate. If I'm here, I'll just be the guy going, and this is why Jensen might have been better than Beauty. I won't be telling you about this shit. I said it ages ago, Richard, I mean it. I won't fucking die for esports. It's not even Quake, the good shit. That was years ago. I'm not dying for League of Legends. Bad Man's Daughter. I didn't even think Dota was good. I was like, let's play Counter-Strike some more, you idiots. So I'm definitely not dying for this shit. Some of you guys can. You can volunteer for that death match.
I mean, honestly, what I will say is, it's incredibly important to support those people who hold power to account in any space, including this one. People who have spent their lives and careers, many of whom are on this call, really trying to find those things and call them out and raise awareness, subscribe to those publications and get, amplify their work and get involved. And, because I think when you let only a fixed number of companies control everything, to Monte's point, it becomes harder and harder to do anything within the industry that doesn't somehow tether yourself to one of them. And if you are one of those people who is operating under the constraints of a game publisher, unionize, like your union rep here with the LCSPA board. Like, I'm telling you, look at, the amount of change that the Activision Blizzard employees who unionized, what they've been able to accomplish within their own companies. I think there is incredible power in numbers, and, that's definitely one parting thought I would like to leave. And then my last one really is like, something Richard mentioned with Macron. I think changing the ways that we seek validation as an industry and changing the places that we look for that. I think esports doesn't need validation from politicians or from traditional sports or traditional entertainment or anything else. I think we can be our own and seek validation from the people who you admire within the industry, and look to validate each other as opposed to looking elsewhere.
Yeah, agreed. Well, well said. And we hope you guys do continue to support and truly change your beliefs on some of this. If you're in the industry, consider speaking out more and being consistent, because that's the most infuriating thing about this entire incident in my mind.
Yes, Mark Zimmerman. Yes, Mark Zimmerman.
Obviously,
the fucking tick I've ever seen, when he said, "If I haven't personally and publicly seen you object to every injustice in the world, or you are in the periphery to any injustice, you are banned from objecting to literally anything." Said no one ever, you fucking dumbass.
Exactly.
and
if we can agree on one thing, don't dictate to people when you know what you're talking about.
You're the best, Zimmerman.
I did. And you know what? If you haven't spoken up in the past, just start now. Now is a great time to start, guys. Now is an excellent time to start. And if you're a fan, consider supporting the entities that you really appreciate within the scene directly, because that will lead to less of this stuff happening in the future. That absolutely will. Monetization is a core part. Yes, Lauren?
I just wanted to say something really, really quickly. And that is of course I interrupted and now I completely fucking lost it.
No. Monetization in the industry, if you're supporting people.
You said something before.
Speaking up, maybe you can speak up now or something.
Yeah. On the point of speaking up, I think it's really important to know that speaking up doesn't mean you need to log on to social media and make a a fully fledged public statement. And that is the only definition of speaking up or, taking action that the world will accept. It's that's so not it. If speaking up to you is you work at Riot or Blizzard and you're going to take a step internally to try to address something, or you're going to, donate to a charity, or you're going to start conversations within your own networks, or you're going to, whatever. There are a million.
Leak info to journalists if you can privately. They'll protect your identity as long as they're legit ones.
Yeah, send the details to our friend Richard Lewis here and provide guerrilla information. Be a double agent. Do it.
Yeah. And don't feel when Monte says speak up, that only means, in the way that it's post a tweet right now. It's no, do something that you feel is valuable and enriching, whatever that means to you.
Yep. Yeah. And also we need double agents. Everybody needs those double agents. Otherwise, a lot of that information can't be there. So in fact, the more noble thing can often be being on the inside and really shifting the industry by submitting that information to qualified journalists. That's excellent, guys. That's excellent. You may not get your props for a long time, if ever, but the people in the industry will know you're a real one.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.